Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the Ireland Esports Collegiate Series for the League of Legends edition. My name is Sandbag. Joining me, Mr. Zathos, as we take our first steps into these playoffs, quarterfinals, MU versus UCD. How are we doing today, sir?
You know what? It's been a good week. I'm happy. I'm excited. And I had a little phone call the other day, said I get a cast today. I'm pretty hyped for it because both of these teams, UCD and MU, have had pretty solid runs. Of course, UCD were second place, only coming behind QUB, while MU is third seed. But most importantly is UCD lost against QUB 2-0 to be second place. But MU actually beat QUB one time, getting themselves into that third seed spot. So today, second versus third, Sandbag, I think we have a series on our hands.
Absolutely, we are. And the series it will be. This is a best of three format in these playoffs, and we are continuing with Fearless. So, as you all well know, pinching some champion pools, a little bit more creativity, and kind of showing more than just the handshake trades across the board. Stuff you like to see. I'm very glad that it's permanent. I know it was an experiment once upon a time. Big fan of the permanence.
Now, experimental is one way to call it, but one of these teams doesn't even care about experimenting. Rafal, the top laner for MU, is actually a Nautilus top main. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. And that's a pick you expect, honestly, never in professional League of Legends, but we have it here today as we will be running through these picks and bans. Mostly what you need to know is UCD very focused about having high priority on the Ashe, making a beautiful teamfight comp, while the other side of MU, teamfight comp as well, but they have a little bit of freshness in that top lane, like the Nautilus I mentioned.
A man after my own heart. Nautilus, Ornn, anything, just a meatball with deceptive damage, things you love to see as we have this draft on screen. Got the Hecarim ban out, pinching the Maynooth champion pool, alongside the Volibear and the Nami, opposite direction. The Sivir, the Scion, a bit more standard and a bit more, this champion's good on OP.GG. I don't want to see it today.
Yeah, the only one I'm question marking is the Olaf. The Olaf usually tells me you want to play in a mobile carry, not with too many defensive tools, but Olaf can run through. And I mentioned the Ashe before. Insta lock that in. Interestingly, UCD can pair up with a Seraphine, but they usually like an Alistar or a hard engaged support. They very much like it for that initiation potential, a way to get in towards the backline. That is crucial against MU, who's more on the back foot, likes to scale, especially with those enchanter supports.
And as they've been seeing so much priority, right? The karmas of the world that you've been seeing a lot of, but instead electing to quick picks on the opposite side. Misfortune, Maokai, huge AoEs to be dealt with, and Ashe, not the most mobile of sorts to get out of those combos.
Yeah, and we've mentioned before about MU's top laner with Foul has 21 games on this Maokai. So there is a high chance they could head up there, maybe to the jungle or even in that support pool. But with the immobility of the Ashe, you want somebody who can tank up that Maokai ultimate and get yourself safe and sound. We know the Braum is very high priority, even the Alistar. But instead, they will go for the bread and bar combo. We've seen a lot at first stand with that Seraphine. It's usually paired up with a Xing Zhao who doesn't do the best into Maokai. You could just get locked away. But the incredible strength of Seraphine, Ashe, and Xing Zhao is what UCD is thinking about.
Everyone playing off of each other's strengths, right? You got permanent slows, which turn into permanent roots. You got the peel out of the Xin Zhao. You got the damage splits. Viego, similar roles, but far more skewing towards the aggression and far less of the get off me tools that you have to try and peel your backline.
Yeah, and this is screaming to me, we want to snowball the game. Because if you are behind as a Viego, Seraphine, Ashe, and Maokai just hits an ultimate, somebody has to tank it, and they are just dead. So Maynooth, MU very much going for the similar style of, okay, we're going for a team fight, but if that doesn't work out, Vladimir, just win, because you could use the W to get away from the Ashe, Seraphine, even the Viego. But the scary thing is you take a long time to scale, meaning if there's a very strong mid laner for UCD, let's say, really anything that they want, being the Vladimir, they're going to have such a strong 2v2 to get the Viego ahead.
It's also doubling down on, you mentioned the Vladimir can just slip right underneath the Ashe. Conditionally, Maokai can do the very same thing, right? Twisted Advance, all of a sudden he's slipping underneath hard CC spells, Encore, Twist, or the Crystalline Arrow. All those are very telegraphed spells. To immunes, all of a sudden, your hard CC combo and your bread and butter, it's not quite as reliable as you'd expect.
Yeah, and The way that they can fix this is by having an aggressive mid laner as some form of CC, a Lissandra, a Galio. I think Galio could be incredibly good for UCD if this Vladimir is in the mid lane, but they still have to wait for Maynooth to pick their last lane. Oh my God. Master Yi? That must be just like we don't know what to pick. Slam a Master Yi.
I fear my research did not.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw this one to you, Mr. Color, while I frantically type into my. Did I miss something, or is there just a Yi slam in my game, sir?
There might just be a Yi slam, and I'm thinking in my head, telegraphed ultimate, Master Yi Q's over, kills everybody.
There's a non-zero chance in a team fight that Ashe throws an arrow at 3 people and none of them get hit by it.
Yeah.
Alpha strike it, pull it, and Twisted advance it. They all just slip right underneath it.
And then MF just behind, just movement speed, walks around it.
Just
not even close to it. Yeah, exactly. But this Master Yi pick is very snowbally. We could say that minimum. Now, it may not have a good early game, but hear me out, Sandbag. Late game, Vladimir, Master Yi, and a random Maokai MF ultimate. Do you need more?
I mean, is this where you pick? Because this Maokai is still worth noting. The top laner is more than likely going to pilot it, leaving this support player. But there's a non-zero chance that they just full flex this, stick it support, and continue with their just psychotic top lane pool. I expect this to be a support pick, though, and I'm thinking Karma or something of that ilk. Zillion, exactly. Someone who you can. I was expecting Mantra E. Zillion's even better because you pop Highlander and then Zillion E. And that is a dash. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It says if your MS is in the 4 digits, that's a dash. I'm not hearing you. It's not a move speed steroid. That's a dash.
Yeah. Now, holistically, the reason why I'm not a big fan of MU is because you have Vladimir and Master Yi on the same team. Vladimir, Sandbag, how much wave clear does a Vladimir have?
Some.
Okay.
Pool. Some.
Exactly. Doesn't have wave clear. Bot lane is going to get pushed in by Ashe Seraphine. Basically, nothing can compare against that. So your team is fully getting pushed in, and your whole goal this game is to get your Master Yi or Vladimir ahead. Master Yi wins the 1v1 against Viego, but the problem is, if mid has push, bot lane has push, and even top lane has push, how's this Master Yi going to go into the enemy jungle and not get help from his team? Not to
mention, their lockdown consists of Maokai. That is the only tool that they have to deal with the Viego dive when he goes in with that Heartbreaker. Vladimir consists of 0 hard CC. Misfortune, 0 hard CC. Yi, the same. You can double bomb him, I guess, but like, you're still a Zillion at the end of the day. It's up to Maokai to try and be the sole lockdown of a Zahan Viego dive. Misfortune's going to have some tough times.
Yeah, Misfortune's more there to just put down an ultimate, and that's pretty much it. He isn't going to be the main carrier of the team, mostly allow the Zillion to roam around the map and help Master Yi. But the important thing is for MU, if they ever find these weird 3 versus 3 fights where Master Yi is able to not get bursted by the Syndra, he can actually cause a lot of mayhem because he can strike or Master Strike Ashe's ultimate, get in towards the backline, kill the Viego, reset. Same with the Zillion on top. So I'm seeing a way where this team can work if they can scale very nicely. It's all about, can UCD scale into the game and actually push their lead in the early game? Because late game, weirdly enough, I think if you have a Vladimir, Master Yi, and a random Zillion out, you have just won a team fight.
Yeah, it's in a world in which you have bigger numbers off of, say, a random dragon fight. That's what I envisioned happening here for Maynooth. Your key to success, you stack up around the Drake, you're likely not going to be able to get Drakes, but if you can get a couple exit picks on the way out, and all of a sudden Yi has, 600 gold more than he should, and he can start fighting and start scrapping. Yi Vladimir, if your numbers are big enough, you can simply right-click in the general direction of enemy turrets, and they lose. They just complete checkmate if you have enough damage. However, do you have enough damage? The answer is likely to be no, unless it's UCD. This is UCD with agency, and Maynooth standing there, just pointing at the clock, going, gotta do something.
How many times have you and me been in solo queue, probably anybody at home, and we have an incredible lead, let's say 5,000 plus gold. We're like, we're just gonna have a bit of fun. we'll just lose one team fight. But if you lose that one team fight and Master Yi gets himself a couple kills under his belt, that's fine. And even if UCD, yes, they get pushing lanes, but they're not able to stop Master Yi from farming, they're actually not in that great of a position.
Yeah, UCD are definitely the ones who have to push the pace. They care a lot more about the dragons stacking. Maynuth just wants to get things while that happens, right? If you can get a Drake install in 5 minutes, fantastic. But if you see 3 people, 4 people grouped up around that lizard, just take his topside camps, try and push out a dive, try and get something going. Like, are you going to be able to dive as Vladimir Yi? No. Are you really going to be able to threaten as Vladimir Yi? No. But can you go get a plate, some waves, bit more funding? That's going to be where you're going to have to look, because I'm excited, right? This is still best of 3. This is still game 1. So at bare minimum, we'll get a second. Why not throw a curveball game 1, right? You have something to surprise them with. You had that week of prep. Cillian, Yi, Vlad. That's not something you're going to expect.
Yeah, that's definitely some prep gone into what they really wanted to do today. And this Master Yi is going to have a pretty good early game. And with that Hail of Blades, that one-shot in is very much available this game.
And as we load into Summoner's Rift for game 1 of the playoffs, UCD taking on Maynuth University. This quick minion spawn does keep us from getting a little bit too stalled out, and yet I don't expect there to be that much action with Dark Clashy is rocking Hail of Blades Yeet. Front loaded, baby.
And that's what we want to see. Take a look at the enemy team. The tankiest champion you have on the enemy team has Ignite. That doesn't go for the teleport, wants to deal damage, wants to be a big part of the team fight damage. So because of that, Master Yi very much can not one shot, but get pretty close to it if he finds that lead. So in this game, I'm expecting Master Yi to just be clearing, as UCD will have the lead in most of these team fights until 3.5 items. That's when Vladimir becomes an absolute monster once he reaches that level 16. And Master Yi, it's mostly about those 2 items. If he can get himself the Bork and a Rage Blade, he starts feeling really good in them.
Yeah, a little bit more of those on hits, start stacking up that aggregates. And in the meantime, you have a situation where this is a very potent bot lane in Ashe Seraphine versus Funny Time Guy, whose only damaging spell is on like an 8-second cooldown. Not the most priority in the lane of all time.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do much in this lane at all. The important thing is, though, MF can go for Bloodthirst, the first item, and the way Ashe Seraphine like to work is trying to poke you down with, of course, the W on Ashe and then the W and Q on the Seraphine. If they can poke you out of lane, they've done their job pretty well. But with MF going Bloodthirst at 900 gold, getting a little extra healing allows you to survive that lane. You can just tell Zilean afterwards, just stand behind me.
A little bit of chase down, throwing out the cleanse, forcing the flash out of Misfortune, now turning the attention onto the Zilean. Aradin gets the same treatment, and that is the cumulative. Ewan and Aradin, 0 sums at the 2-minute mark.
And Sandbag, as a Zilean main yourself, you know how useless that champion is early on. You could try and give yourself movement speed, but Ashe just takes that away. Because of that, he will be losing at least 2 waves here. And Ewan is so low under that tower. First tower plate should be going over to them as well. And UCD, they want to find the lead early. At least this bot lane is going the way they wanted.
Zilean's one of those champions that I love to bits, but in a world where you can press tab C000s, we might have to hold that. Looking topside, Bramble smash. He's got a little bit more mana to work with. Chinese man receiving attention. Red buff slow, flashes away, popped up into the air. Auto will do it. First blood going the way of Maynuth's jungler, and Yi's on the board early.
Yeah, Viega will be able to get himself 2 of those Skull Crabs because of it. But Master Yi with that first blood, 400 gold in the pocket. You want to find a lead, and that's exactly how you want to do it. And it's off the back of their top laner. When's the last time you saw a Maokai in the top lane? Some people forget about how much CC he truly has with the Q Bramble smash with the slow, and of course that W, depth below, being able to stun you up.
I feel like everyone appreciates how much CC he does have. It's the deceptive base stats that he's got that really throws me off. Like, if you hover over those spells, he's got a grand total of tier and cloth armor, and he's gonna still do significant damage there. That's the bit that surprises me.
Yeah, I remember the old Maokai when you had, of course, the reduction on damage and damage yourself with the ultimate. when I used to be that bad at League, I used to just hard engage every time on Maokai and be like, why am I not winning? I'm Maokai. I'm meant to win early game. Just truly showing that he's always, at least in my head, been known for how much damage he deals.
What was the name of that? The old ultimate? With the little AoE around him? I'm showing my age a little bit.
I definitely think the new ultimate was better, but I do miss the old ultimate. Just because of Maokai top was the most important thing. Until people realized, oh, he has really good CC. They just put him jungle instead.
Yeah, just lock him down. He's got a big AoE ultimate now. But in the modern age, this is a Maokai who, yes, he is down a wave or so already. Zahen's going to be doing that. Chinese man doing a good job blocking him on that one. But at the same time, he's got his tier stacking. He's got a little bit of armor to work with. He's going to be just chilling, stalling, and waiting for Dark Clashy to continue to show face as he continues running top lane. Slowed in Alpha Strike. Here comes the TP. If they can commit for this one, they're going to be turned on by this TP channel. It's so slow, though. I forget pre-upgrade his TP as we do connect to scatter all the same level 6. That TP takes so long to finish that always throws me off.
Yeah, and we can start seeing the game plan from MU. Understand their bot lane isn't going to be any chance to gank. Mid lane, same as that. Let those two scales survive as much as possible. It's all about this Maokai's lockdown. Instead of seeing the Nautilus we usually see, this team just absolutely loves any form of CC, hard aggressive jungler, and keep finding kills. Because the jungle of MU has played stuff like Talon, played the J4, the Fury, Diana, anything to help with it.
Holding that top side, gonna return the favor. Bramble Smash ultimate through it. The Unstoppable forced to flash away as here comes Yi. He set up his tent and he is camping this one high key. Flashing to the other side, ends up getting the first reset string. The best picks up the body, smashing away. Heartbreaker will not connect, but he kites it out well. Yi down, and this took too long. 2 kills go to UCD's top side.
Yeah, not knowing that Viego was able to get himself to level 6, but that was all because of that first play. Because Master Yi went for the kill topside, the 2 Scuttle Crabs went over to UCD's jungler, which gave him just enough XP of that kill to get himself level 6, meaning that Master Yi wasn't able to pick up that double kill. And this lead MU was building up in towards the top side has been absolutely thwarted as the kill goes over to Viego. The lead is just not there anymore.
And you see at the bottom of the screen, 59 to 42 in CS, 44 to 33 in CS, both side lanes. While the KDAs look fine, pushing towards that 1k gold lead, basically on the back of creeps alone.
Yeah, of course, Vladimir in the mid lane, able to get something there was bot lane.
Highlander throwing out the arrow to try and stall it, but Aridin's got the move speed. Here comes the heal early on. Lozy, forcing a flash is why do you ask me? Here comes the Alpha Strike, stalling for as long as they can. The shielding, and Lozy gets out. Seraphine's utility, cleansing away is Ewan. So a very nice 2v3 kite out, and String the Best can be the recipient of a lot of bot pressure.
Yeah, no level 6 available from the bot side of MU because they got pushed out as mid lane.
Solo kill into the mid lane. That is Syndra getting the ultimate off with pool unavailable. So straight up hands check right there. Wilted Rose making some moves.
And this is what you expect from UCD, being able to prioritize their strong bot lane 2 versus 2, their strong mid lane 1 versus 1, and pushing to the enemy jungle. Was only able to steal 1 camp, but that's what we want to see more of, making sure that Master Yi isn't able to farm, because he's actually looked for 3 ganks already into this game, and Viego's only had to mostly just thought them. He's actually got himself over a 10 CS lead there in the jungle. Not bad for 8 minutes into the game.
Not bad at all. So you got a little bit of a skirmish up in the top lane, but no harm, no foul. You saw, just for a brief moment, Ewan throwing out that bullet time, just ulting the wave, getting the crash in, and getting the reset, because things were starting to get a little bit too tough down there, right? 20 CS in the difference at 8 minutes. That's just a chasm.
Yeah, the best way to try and push the pace of the game is going for these Void Grubs. All 3 should be able to go over to them. And when you have players like Viego, Ashe, Seraphine, and bot lane, even Syndra with priority, you have a lot of chance to actually hit these towers and take full effect of them. Of course, Master Yi just getting into the game, seeing what he can do. Now, there is one thing I am upset about, and there is going to be MF's build. They've gotten themselves attack speed boots. On MF early into the game, you even want to get yourself swiftness boots to stop the, well, slowness you get from the Astral to Seraphine, but more importantly, you just want to get yourself as much damage as possible. Get yourself that BF sword, get yourself anything to do with damage.
Raw AD is your best friend as an MF player, and so trying to get as much of that as possible. And I agree, Swifties felt like the move this game, right? You're into an Ashe. You're not going to be lacking for slow opportunities to try and negate on that one.
Yeah, as well as they're trying to pick you off, the swiftness boots allow you to dodge it just slightly easier. So Jaeger will be pinging towards the top side. Maokai does have the ultimate, but no flash available. It's going to be how he's using that W to try and get himself out of this.
Slowly building this dive. Maokai's got ult, no flash to work with. Meanwhile, Milted Rose forced to flash underneath the turret. Here comes the dive top lane. Sap Magic stalling out, stunned up. He's going to tank. Here comes the Aftershock, though. They might have a whole lot to cut down for this tree, but they will get in with the ultimate. Well juggled. String the best tanking it up. Chinese man dealing damage. It's top for mid trade.
Yeah, and that's a hard one to play around. The Seraphine node does miss here, but they won't be able to find anything on the back of that missing. But this top lane was all about that Maokai W. Can they get it out without expending everything before it? With that Vago ultimate baiting it out, they were able to get themselves to kill towards the top side. And you've got to feel for the side of MU. They had a very clear game plan, get top lane ahead. But it feels like that second fight up there that went to the way of UCD has really thwarted a lot of their early game plans.
That one was absolutely pivotal in swinging things back because Chinese man was flashless. He was pressured. It was a Yi. If he gets that second kill, he starts outstripping the string the best clear. He starts pushing the pace. Yes, he's already got himself a Drake and he's getting these incremental leads, but he's still down 20 CS with the amount of time invested and not getting what he's looking for out of it.
And it's even more crucial than just the CS is taking a look at what the CS means. The items Kraken stay complete compared to just components on the opposite side. If he had the Kraken here, it'd be so much quicker at clearing.
We do have another collision course for the two junglers meeting up in the river and Danger pinging one another. Chinese man's got that revive locked and loaded, so there will not be any fight for the Maokai. Here comes the Highlander, though, smiting one another. 300 HP to his name, and Dark Clashy does not have the stats he needs to do battle, and with it, tuck tail and run.
Yeah, it's just a perfect example of the difference between Kraken Slayer compared to no Kraken Slayer. Because of that, 4 tower plates already over. Maokai should be stopped here as well, and that can just be the first tower over to the side of Chinese man, who has that 30 CS lead and should be able to grab this if Maokai doesn't want to TP.
I think even if Maokai does TP, they can probably just take it in his face, right? Maokai is not the most imposing of sorts. Yeah, he's got surprising damage, but he doesn't have kill you through flash damage.
Yeah, especially when he only has armor boots and a chain fest to his name. He has to run for the hills, going to be able to clear this wave, but you could already see String the best understanding that, yes, my bot lane's winning in isolation. Keep doing that, guys. You have a 3rd CS lead. I'll stick towards top side. I'll help him find a lead, but most importantly, stopping this Master Yi from getting too far ahead, because yes, they have themselves one dragon, but take a look at the gold. It's almost 4,000 the UCD are up.
And it's also minimap showing a lot of blue wards that were covering both Tribrush. You have Pixel Brush warded. So even if you're going to sit up your top side, he's still covering regardless. Great, he's not covering with his body, but he's got the information coverage that he needs.
Yeah, but with that first top lane tower going down, let's see what their next option is going to be. 1 minute 30 till that dragon is spawned as mid lane.
Oh, low kill possibility, flashing forwards. Hemoplague pops, Wilted Rose has the pot ticking. Syndra lives to tell the tale. Elite just an auto in the difference.
Yeah, Lee getting himself to a decent power spike with that first side completed and the boots, but it's just not enough to that Syndra who used that pot you mentioned just before. I'm liking the looks at MU, but this is the problem with the Vladimir and Yi. They just need to scale for a little longer, but will UCD give themselves the chance? Fortunately, they have themselves that first dragon, so it's still going to be another 20 minutes until we're going to see that soul.
Yeah, plenty of time to work with, but my attention shifts from what we've been talking a lot, being this jungle matchup of keeping the Yi down, and skewing towards topside, because Chinese man has completed his top lane quests. meaning he can start moving around and translating his lead elsewhere. You see Syndra topside, you see him mid, cleansing out the arrow, here comes the encore, just sidestepped. Struts movement speed, underrated, but here comes flash forwards. Why do you ask me? Don't need boost speed when you got slows to make the difference. Why do you ask me? Get in the one bot lane. And things go bad to worse potentially in the jungle. Here comes Dark Clashy. Here goes the Highlander. String the best is going to be attacked. Jumping on in is this Vladimir. Remember, no flash from earlier, but he's got the big Q of the transfusion. Vlad gets his shutdown. Now here comes Chinese Man trying to turn this one, igniting the stall. The heals. Elite's going to get the move speed on out. It's a 1 for zip trade back. 80's down, and Maynuth clawing something back.
And that's what they need. They need to find these small little opportunities to make these big plays. Elite finding that one kill may not seem a lot yet, but take a look, getting even closer to that second item. And once they get towards 3, those now start looking super dangerous in these team fights, especially when UCD used all of their abilities just to kill the MF at the start of that fight.
And MF, not the most imposing of sorts, right? Considering we are 15 minutes of the game and yet to finish an item on our carries, we might have a potential scrap here. UCD certainly favored as here goes Dark Clashy. Move speed thanks to the Zillion, sidestepping away from that Spectral Maw. They'll just nose around a little bit, but spectators, they will remain.
Yeah, Syndra up towards the top lane with the Maokai, 2 of the weakest members on both teams. Chinese Man is in a position where nobody has the damage to kill him yet. Master Yi won't be able to, Vladimir won't yet, MF will never, and we saw how Maokai had that top lane matchup. So whenever Chinese Man actually comes to any of these, you just kind of have to say, all right, wherever you are, we're just not going to be. We'll let you do your thing, we'll just outscale you. The longer the game goes, they will be able to pick up that second dragon. But this gold lead that was 4,000 before is now down to only 3, pretty close to 2, just showing that MU are clawing their way back into this game.
Yeah, they are bridging the gap a little bit, absolutely, but we're still waiting on item completions on both side lanes, right? No Zillion, no MF, no Maokai. This is still a significant power trough until those come through, and even your Vladimir, who's meant to be the strong one, he's nowhere near standing up to the Zen.
Yeah, only level 11. Able to slowly clear the wave, not very much known for that. As Chinese Man, he doesn't actually very much clear for Vladimir, but might have
a couple
to.
Of tower shots, though, might make a difference, and the transfusion flashing respectfully. Chinese Man maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself and loses his own summoner for his troubles.
Yeah, flash up in 20 seconds for Elite. Has that ultimate available.
Oh, here comes the Hemo Plague trying to go into the pool. CC immune and vulnerable. Does he have the transfusion back in time? Not enough damage. He runs out of gas, and the auto will do it. 2 oversteps end up being the death of the mid laner.
Yeah, more importantly, he thought he had the damage for it, and he would have if Chinese Man wasn't able to heal it all back up. You need healing reduction against the champion of Sehen, because he heals a lot more than what most people expect. It's a little bit like an AD Vladimir at this point.
The irony of the Vlad needing heal cut. Grievous wounds. Yep. The bane of Vlad players everywhere ended up being the difference, and in the meantime, I feel like every time we pan top, this is an armor stacking Maokai just getting his teeth kicked in over and over and over by Syndra spells. This is a miserable existence, and they're looking to cut it quite short. Flash will continue his lifespan, but Rafa, he's suffering this game.
Yeah, it's all because of that second play. He picked this champion into a bad matchup just to give his Master Yi an opportunity into the early game. So ultimate comes down. Won't be able to find the kill, but he will have to get himself into a defensive position. So UCD push their lead even more yet again with their second top lane tower.
It's actually even worse because Airden burnt the Chrono Shift, that Zillion ult, so you want it to pop so you can get about a third of your health bar back. He doesn't get it, and so back to base he will find himself as we have a bit of a fight in this jungle. Eowyn gonna be face checking into String the Best, who dives on forwards, flashing out the exhaust ticking bomb on his head. He gets the shutdown onto his Yi, and that's a freebie for Maynuth.
Yeah, getting themselves a 1 kill back, just a slight overstep. Very much focused around having all of their abilities available in UCD. If Seraphine, and Ashel aren't available, you most likely aren't going to win that fight unless you have Chinese Man there.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be the one to tip the scales, and while he's busy trying to make some inroads on this bot lane T2, you can't just be running headlong into 3 members.
Yeah, and you can start seeing how MU's power curve is starting to tick up. Short top lane, absolute chasm. Not going to be very strong in this game. Just going to be a slight tank for the team. But take a look at the Vladimir. 1.5 items, super close to that second one. Even with the Master Yi, has most of his components completed for that Rage Blade. Once those two start coming through, you can just put a Zillion ultimate on them and say, go fly. Go have fun, enjoy, just absolutely ruining the days of the enemy team. So all they need to do is give up 2 more dragons, get to those 2.5 items, get to those 3 items. That's when they could start taking over. Towards the top lane, all Maokai needs to do is just let Syndra pass the waves to him.
Yep, stall that top wave as best as you can. Every moment you can buy that top structure and keep them off of your inhib is valuable time. And it's definitely worthwhile doing, but it's a 46 CS lead. Every time we look up there, it gets worse and worse, and potentially something brewing. Chinese man gonna get a yank onto elite, but eventually the 3-man unit of jungle, sup, and mid are gonna be able to push out the top laner.
Yeah, for this dragon, there is an opportunity for MU to fight this. Have their 2 item cores completed. Zillion as well with that movement speed, helping run away from maybe an Asher or maybe from a Seraphine. But they're in such a tight corridor, it's going to be hard trying to dodge it, even with that movement speed.
I think this is just a straight up tough fight, right? Anytime you see Chinese man, as we said, it's going to be hard to find. And I think they understand the situation at hand. Group up, see if they can catch anyone lacking, but then move back to the clears. I very much respect the patience here from Manu.
Yeah, I think I would have liked more if they mostly pivoted towards the top side and tried to match the gold by trying to find a dive towards the top. Instead, they will just look for this bot lane.
Heal cut, Hemo Plague, trading sums and ults, but it is still going to be a Vladimir at the end of the day, and they both simply will walk it out.
Yeah, Seraphine as well here towards the bot side, just making sure that Chinese man, if he was in a bit of danger, wasn't going to be able to, as Seraphine had the heals, the shields, everything he needed just to keep him alive. But the problem with Elite in this top lane is, he's pretty strong in a 1 versus 1, of course not against Chinese man. He doesn't actually have good wave clear.
Oh, and the pullback comes through, yanked at the end of the spear, waiting for the dash in. Chinese man gets the tower and its guardian. Doubling up on that one, and he just continues running amok in this game.
Yeah, 2 items to his name. Doesn't have any magic resist, but Vladimir still not at that point. Needs himself that Bloodthirster. So what about people in bad spots? Syndra?
Yeah, there ain't nothing happening on that one. As soon as you get tagged with the Maokai ultimate, that's all she wrote, and mid is going to be picked off, and Ewan, the move speed is a huge crutch, and getting out of dodge swiftly, Ewan walks it on out.
Yeah, no crystal arrows, so not going to die for his sins. But UCD getting themselves another bot lane tower, the second top lane tower down as well, and they are slowly choking out MU. Now, the important thing is going to be this Baron. Baron's up, of course, for both of these teams. Very quick at taking it with the Viego and the Ashe, and even the Sehen on their team. Now, I'd actually like if they start setting up vision for it. Just because the longer the game goes on, we keep mentioning, the closer they are getting to actually being able to win these fights. And you can even see here, Marcy, you're not able to win yet, but he was thinking about it.
You know when they size up enemy top laner as a 2v1 and go, nah, pass. That's kind of indicative. That's indicative of the game. Is there's a Baron sneak going on, Zath, 10k HP, and they have no idea.
Yeah, it's all because they know about it. They understand that if they don't take it now and it scales too late into the game, they're in a super awkward position. Crystal Arrow trying to clear the mid wave, not understanding that it just flies past the minions.
Toxic.
Doesn't hit them anymore.
They had such a nice Baron sneak, and you're talking about clearing minion waves with arrow, all right? Relax. That was a good call by UCD.
No, okay, UCD overall, incredible call. Ashe, he must have sneezed and hit his keyboard.
Listen, they went for a pick. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and he's still wearing purple at the end of the day. That's a super heads-up play of, you see 2, start the Baron, see what happens.
Yeah, and it seemed to have worked out for them. And I mentioned this 30 seconds before. They need to get Baron, otherwise the enemy team just scales into the game too much. So with this Baron, their biggest goal is start cracking open these inhibitors. Go 4-4-1, Sehen on the side lane, become an absolute monster, have your Ashe, Seraphine and Syndra just holding hands in the mid lane. The only scary thing is the amount of movement speed MU have. They have a high chance of picking someone off with a Maokai TP and that ultimate combined. The question is, can they find the pick? Will UCD be able to pick these inhibitors up?
Yep, you just need gold. As soon as you have gold, then that movement speed becomes such a big deal. But without the damage behind it, movement speed gets you quicker back from base after you've been killed. The arrow does connect onto the E. He was looking for something flashing forwards into the two-man unit, and he will get his prize. Zillion revive buys but a moment. Syndra, thank you very much.
Yeah, and Zillion is just so far behind, not being able to find any opportunities to help his team early into the game. Gets picked off, and this is what they need. They could just crack open this mid lane base. Yes, they can clear one wave, but that's it.
Straight up damage, no CC required, and they make it look easy. Double kill going over to the Syndra. 2 men topside are the only defenders left as the base will be cracked.
Yeah, they're decisive at the moment they need to be. MU so close to getting themselves into the game, but maybe it was just too little too late with their Vladimir and Yi combo. 2 members alive, 3 now. They might be able to hold on for now, but how much longer?
Have a third, and you still have 15 seconds until either one of the carries are going to show face. Chinese man putting some damage into Rafa. Twisted advance forwards. Bramble smash. They're going to turn their attention onto the tank, and they have good damage onto him. The revive. Stalling. String the best, but here comes Chinese man dive. Flashing forwards. It's huge burst onto the support player. They will get the Zillion, but they do not have enough to get this one done. About 10% HP remains on one Nexus turret. They're going to settle for a Drake and Soul Point, but still devastating that base.
Yeah, and with that Dragon up and available, they should be able to grab it when they come back. But there's actually a small opportunity here. If they push out this mid wave, they could actually be their first MU, finding the pick off with that Maokai W, but it might be too little too late. But this is their best opportunity.
Ashe hasn't reset yet, right? She has components for IE, but hasn't completed it. Zillion, you see sprinting back from base with the extra move speed, the TP channeled, and they will likely be able to get this. The TP gets them back in time, and you likely just going to have to give this.
Yeah, they will likely have to. However, looking like they're sniffing. They're seeing if they can find a pick here. Of course, they can't die all of them with that mid lane having no inhibitor available. One loss here is just a game.
I don't think they can kill Zehen, though. I think Chinese man will simply just stall them while Syndra pushes the mid wave. You see on minimap, this mid laner is looking for a single Nexus turret. They're going to have to go quick, as here comes Dark Clash. You pop in the Highlander, String the Best tied up on the right-hand side of your screen. 2-man encore. Into the back line goes Chinese man. Aridin forced to revive himself as here goes into the back lines. Vladimir might have some burst of his own to turn on, so as they do get String the Best's reset, it's up to the Vladimir and the solo lanes. Rafa cannot stand. The backdoor will soon be coming to fruition as Wilted Rose trying to put the auto attacks in. Does Vlad have the burst? Going golden and picking up Nexus. Wilted Rose is going to pick up first game for UCD.
Yeah, and UCD picking up that first game. And you look close, it was all about that second play in the top side. If it went slightly different, got the double kill on towards that Master Yi, he would have snowballed the game to absolute mayhem. However, they're able to calm it down, and you can see why they are the second seed, understanding when they need to push the pace. And that's what they did with that Baron, because after that went down, the game was over in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that game was effectively 2 moments tied together. As you said, that top lane play where Yi could have gotten 600 gold, got 0 and handed it over to enemy jungle, and then you calling out, hey, you need to be able to siege this. Let's get this done quick. 5 minutes later, not only do they have the Baron, they have the base, they have the Nexus, got it done in a hurry.
Yeah, and really well played to them. Of course, this is a best of 3. All of those champions will be off the board, but most likely, I wasn't expecting Master Yi to ever be on the board. So, it'll be fun to see what both of these teams will be picking in their second game. Of course, whoever wins here will get themselves in towards, is it the semi-finals?
I believe it's just grand. I believe this is semi-finals to my knowledge. So you're going to be punching your ticket straight into grand. So without further ado, do not go anywhere. We will see you guys game 2 right after the break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of semifinals. Maynooth University taking on UCD, currently up 1-0 in the series. I am still Sandbag, this is still Zathos, and Draft is still on screen. Walk us through this one, sir.
Yeah, well, of course, you know, the difference is Maynooth is on your blue side, UCD is on your red side. Maynooth still has so many different champions, and yeah, Civil was left available. Why not pick it up? Has incredible scaling, but most importantly, allows a roaming support. Maynooth support absolutely loves champions like Bard, Rakan, anything that can get around the map and cause mayhem. Something that the Zillion felt like he wasn't able to do because he didn't have any AD carry that kind of facilitated that. So let's see what UCD want to go against it. They usually like to play very aggressive AD carries. You know, mostly solid into the Sivir. If they wanted to be super aggressive, could have, of course, gone for the Vayne. But you know, Lulu, something that China absolutely loves. Very solid bot lane. Do they have an answer to this? That's the question.
Best region in the world right now? BLG? Perhaps, you know, taking a page out of their book. Taking a page out of their book as you have the classic duel, right? We had Sarah comboed with the Ashe. Now we got the Yunara and the Lulu and the Nautilus lock-in. Top lane Naut is on the table. Again, still flexible, but I'm such a fan of this pick.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense if they do go for the Nautilus in the top lane. The support like stuff more along the lines of a Sona, a Karma, and I actually think Sona could be a pretty solid pickup here. The amount of healing and shielding you have for the late game, as we will be hovering over the Annie, something that UCD's mid laner has picked up a lot, and is good into the enemy team. Wukong ever tries to jump in, Tibber's on the face. Nautilus ever jumps in, Tibber's on the face, and you get yourself an easy free kill. Now at the second bad phase, I expect UCD to be banning away two of Annie's counters. One, the side of Maynooth, they can realistically just ban away any jungler they don't want to deal against. For example, it's in Zhao, who has high priority, but the enemy jungle does actually play a few funky things like a Vanguard of a Viego we saw before, or even that volley bear that's already been taken off the board.
Yeah, a couple more of those more out there picks are going to be taken away alongside some familiar faces returning to the ban list, right? The Olaf was in first rotation in game 1, Aurelia second rotation in game 1 as well, meaning we're going to continue to pinch those solos. And I don't know where you're going to lean towards for this top lane. When you see a Nautilus, where do you look to try and counterpick that? What comes to mind?
I mean, there's so many great options into it. Any sort of Bruiser, Aatrox, Darius, anything that wants to just stay in the fight, even a set, I think would absolutely be fantastic this game. Wins against the Nautilus, wins against the Wukong, could just ult either of them away to keep your backline safe. Or you can just go simplicity. Have the Sion, Lulu, Yunara together, have a jungler who honestly could be anything at that point, as UCD now have to decide what do they want to play into the Wukong. Straight to my head, Zhao comes in, but instead they're going for the Graves. Wins the 1v1, has the Lulu for support, but the problem is, this Graves can be quite difficult to be that front line when your team doesn't have one yet.
Yeah, I was also thinking, if you see this Nautilus and you believe it is top lane, something like an Mbessa kind of fits into that thing that you were talking about, and I also know that it's also in Chinese man's pool, so something in that vein could be possible. On the opposite side, you're looking to try and pick up your mid here, and Talon going to be the opt-in. Physical damage abounds, sir. There is exactly one magic damage champ in this whole game at present.
Yeah, and I'm just going to put it out there. There is a chance this could be a Wukong top, Nautilus bot lane or support, and Talon in the jungle. The only reason I mention this is Talon is the most played champion for luck in the jungle, as Rakan is going to get locked in, and this is what we expected from Maynooth, right? Support is able to roam around the map with an AD carry handshaking it, while the rest of the team gets down and dirty and wants to fight. The only problem is, how much AP do they have? Rakan, Nautilus into a Malphite.
So remember when I said physical damage abounds, and then they proceeded to lock another physical damage champion? Yeah, I don't think Malphite takes damage this game. I think this Malphite is Tabbies and Glacial Shroud away from just 0 deaths.
Yeah, just go Frozen Heart. and you're done.
I don't think you need that. I think you're just Glacial Shroud. So you're not Moon. So you're not And then I'm scared for Maynooth.
Do you remember last game? We were like, Maynooth, if you get to late game, you can win.
Just 10 more minutes, bro. 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes, bro.
You lose. Sorry, Maynooth. Early game, you lose. Well, I mean, they have a chance early game if they absolutely snowball the living hell out of it. That's the way they win this game. The only problem is, Talon needs to snowball. There's a Tibbers in your face. Graves gets stacking armor. Not very one-shotable, or unless you're super far ahead. Don't talk about the Malphite. Bot lane has so many shields and heals from the Lulu. They want to redraft in the nicest way.
I'm not a gambling man.
I won't gamble on this one.
I might be willing to start as this one. Maynooth, listen. I'm going to direct this to the Maynooth loyals. This is your chance in playoffs, right? We're not writing you off yet. But you're going to have to prove me wrong because I fear for your tournament run coming to a screeching halt at the hands of rock-solid top laner. Malphite might just S-key in some team fights, Zath.
Yeah, Samak, I think you and me could be playing Malphite this game. It's that dead simple to play this champion against the enemy team. Of course, Chinese man, much better than you and me will ever be in the top lane, especially after playing Quinn top lane for 30 days. I don't ever want to touch that lane again. But yeah, Malphite, very solid pickup. I think UCD have been doing very well so far against Maynooth. The only thing is, they need to not just beat Maynooth, but they have to show off a very solid performance for those finals if they will go against QB yet again. Because they did lose 2-0 last time. Maynooth, the only team to pick up a win. Some people say it was a fluke. Some people think hardly deserved. But really doesn't matter. Maynooth have won it. UCD need to show why they're clearly the second best team and why they can actually win this whole series.
And with it, your first task is shutting down Talon. As you yourself highlighted, that is the one that you're looking for.
Sam, would you like to say?
I was going to say, the pause on stream is the hot off-the-press moment. You know what? I'm just not going to say it. I think we just let this one ride and let the viewers find out. We're just going to let that one go. We're going to pretend like we didn't hear anything and let that one show on screen. Standard. Nothing out of the ordinary here for UCD.
Normal,
this
everyone
is
going
just
where they want to go.
Don't look anything towards the top right of your screen. There is it's not Malphite top lane.
Now, do you know what I would have loved?
What's that?
Mid. How funny would it have been if you have a Talon mid lane and you just put a rock there and you say no, you won't one shot me because I've had too many solo queue games as either a support or an AD carry where Talon has one shot me. And you know what? If there was one champion to get rid of in this game, it would be Talon. He at least hasn't come into, the esports scene, so I haven't had to, complain to anybody about it. But Sandbag, get this champion out of my game.
Really? Of all you've got like 180 to work with, and you're most upset about Talon? It's not Yumi, it's not Shaco, it's Talon?
I hate that champion. He comes in, he one-shots me, and he gets out. There's no skill to it.
Just ward the walls, bro.
He's in every single game. I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, I'm safe. He just comes over the wall, one-shots me and walks out. And there's nothing I can do. And you're like, oh, ward, bro. Bro, it's solo queue. Okay? But understand if it's pro play, like we have here today, that people are like, okay, guys, mid lanes SS, hello. No, no one tells me SS. I just die. Just to give context, by the way, this is Master and Diamond games. Sometimes 300 LP Master games, and it's still Talon everywhere. So, if you can't tell, chat, this has been a thing for a long time coming. I hate this champion.
Are you glad you got that one off your chest? I feel like that one's been built up for a while.
Sorry, I feel a bit bad now. I hope Talon loses. MU in the nicest way. UCD wins.
All right, now on the opposite side, Elite's got his hands warm from the Vladimir game, right? He was the bright spot in the previous look. He had some opportunities. He was only an auto short of a couple solo kills. That game could have swung. Like, yes, it got out of control, that game absolutely could have swung. And so with this one, stabilize out early and then get snowballing. From there on, you need to keep going. On this left-hand side of your screen, if that says 0-0-0 in the mid lane, this pick ain't doing what it wants to do.
Yeah, and the benefit is you have CC from the Rakan in the bot lane, Nautilus CC in the top side will be getting pushed in, actually giving a decent opportunity for Talon to roam to either side of these lanes and actually look for the picks. It's all about UCD. Can they ward correctly and not stop letting this Talon do what he does in my solo queue?
Meanwhile, just going to be a little bit of trading here. Electrocute procced as Elite's going to be the recipient of a nice little Annie combo. The Shrouds thrown down there, smoke screen, and some decent damage onto the Nautilus. Yes, he's tanky, but he is still mortal early.
Yeah, Graves can go for some early healing if he wants to in towards the Nautilus, if he wants to survive the damage. But he should be okay as Wukong trying to walk in, actually going to just get pure bullied out by the enemy jungler.
And forcing flash. On that hand, you're actually probably okay as a Wukong to get a laner's flash for your own. It's not too big a deal as you got Ewan, who's flashing to the other side, does not connect with the grand entrance. So I asked me chase down. Here comes Ewan. Barrier's going to be baiting. Here comes Lozy, and Lulu's got some damage. No mana to work with. Barrier pop, turning his attention onto the marksman. But Lulu gets it, flashes in to take it for his own. Why do you ask me on the board early?
Yeah, winning the bot lane 1 versus 1, and you saw the desperation from MU, understanding that they are a comp that needs to find a successful early game. So Rakan uses the flash and his movement speed abilities to get in, but it was too little too late. UCD with the kill, and on top of that, getting the double scuttle crab 2 games in the row, showing the best, being able to steal it away from the Wukong, who got bullied out of his own jungle.
And so we take stock. Mid down 20 CS, bot lane down to kill, jungle down 2 crabs, top lane's playing Nautilus. This is already off to a pretty rocky start.
Yeah, like what you did there because of Malphite, right?
He's rocky. Dude, it's too easy to fall into stuff. That one wasn't even on purpose.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how easy it is to fall into a literal mounting. I guess how big it is.
I feel like it'd be pretty tough to miss a mountain. Like, just no matter what you did, you'd kind of just end up on the mountain, maybe.
You just say, "Oh, guys, let's go to the mountain."
Or the mountain comes to you with an Archie, which is about to come up, right? You see him clearing down towards bot side, level 5. He does not have it quite yet available, and Ewan does have a spell shield to work with, but Malphite can still get active, and I'm actually looking towards Elite to be the recipient of that first ult.
Yeah, we'll be able to dash over the wall if they don't instantly one-shot him, but Annie level 6 plus Malphite should have enough damage to just take him out, or at least CC him until he gets bored enough and steps away from his keyboard.
The classic Morgana lever buster combo, where you CC him long enough that eventually they're just kicked from lobby, is they will be setting their attention on to the first Hex Tech Drake of the game. Wukong in the back of the pit. This could be a potential steal. And I think they understand it, leashing it out. Dark Clashy, 2000 HP. Linking up, trying to get the combo in, eating into the pit. It's going to be straight up smite fight. Goes the way of this top. Smite, flashing, ulting. It's going to be string the best with smite and pick. Malphite ends up getting it done. And jungle gap will be typed on that one.
Yeah, and Elite try to find the kill there in towards the back line, but the Lulu polymorph just wastes so much time, giving the opportunity for Malphite to steal it away, have a coffee break, and come in with that ultimate again. UCD, another kill. That one going over towards Diani, the person who they probably wanted on the most, meaning they could keep the Talon down and stop this game from becoming even more chaotic.
And just as we said would likely be the recipient, Elite ends up eating that Malphite ultimate, and right up the top of your screen, 1,800 gold approximately in 6 minutes. And effectively, every lane is getting a slice of that. So right now, if you're MU, it's not quite panic stations, but it is rapidly approaching that as here comes the ultimate. Not much mana to work with. He doesn't even have the ability to throw a dredge line. Or Rafa is so Chinese man can just ghost himself to safety.
Yeah, because Elite used all of his major abilities in that last team fight, doesn't have the ult, doesn't have the ignite, he just walks out to safety. MU trying to make these plays, but not able to find anything. The bot lane still level 5, level 6 is the major point where we expect the Sivir and the Rakan to try and make a play with the Wukong paired up with them, but so far, just clearing the waves and allowing UCD to scale quite nicely into this game, especially with Unara having themselves a few items advantage over the enemy AD carry.
Graves is so unbothered. He had 0 mana, stayed, and pushed in another wave to crest that 20 CS difference. That is not the face of a man who just got ganked. That is the face of a man who is comfortable just hanging out top lane.
Yeah, you know the game isn't going well when a Malphite jungle is out farming a Wukong, not by a couple CS, by solid over 10.
Speaking of said Malphite, it is a potential for another engage here. Flash E into the wall. It gets the combo off. 244 gold is the prize for this jungler. String the Best doesn't have a flash of his own to work with, doesn't end up needing it. And the link up of mid jungle is simply too much to bear. Lozi's gonna be finding himself a numbers advantage stun thanks to the anti-passive. Smited like a camp and insult to injury. He's breaking it down on him.
Yeah, a few darters from the Malphite, making sure they know that he's not killable. So we'll be stealing away one more camp away from Dark Clash. Here's the top lane. Still happening how you want, but Nautilus with some decent wave clear here and actually some damage. Has the ultimate available if he wanted to go for the play, but no ignite. Not going to have the damage needed to kill Chinese man.
So remember what we said about not quite panic stations, like it's very early days? I'm about ready to call panic stations, and right now we might have a play here onto Wilted Rose, Ignite, passive, and there we go! That's what you're looking for out of your Talon pick. Does he get beat up by Malphite? Yes. Does he have value? Also still yes. Good work from Elite.
Yeah, Tim is using that to kill the Wukong earlier on. Elite, knowing this, able to find the 1v1 with the ultimate advantage. Because of that, he's going to be able to get himself that first kill, but most importantly, going to be able to get those 3 Void Grubs as well. So if they can find a lead, get onto these towers, they could push it even more. As the mid lane TP comes through, this gold lead still, even with the Talon, is 3,000 up on the side of UCD.
3,000 up and yet 300 closer, right? 10% of that lead was just cut. So, hey, Bright Spaces ulting for Cannon is so based. Chinese man, absolutely valid on that one.
I mean, the top lane, even with or without ultimate, is probably not killing the Nautilus before he resets and gets himself back. And more importantly, he literally loses nothing. So just push this wave, force him to teleport back, get yourself a few of these tower plates as Wukong.
Kong is en route, and he does have a Cyclone popping the early smite here, turning the attention. He does have Essence Reaver to work with. Dredgeline lands, popped up, CC'd, and maybe he wants that ult after all. Chinese man down for 23.
Now, the benefit is, the ultimate wouldn't have killed Nautilus. Would have it been very close? Definitely, especially if he hit that Q. But UCD top laner goes down, and MU have a bit more fight into them.
And so, as they continue walking towards this dragon, a potential second on the table for UCD. And yeah, did you lose your top laner? Absolutely. Does it do that much for the game state? Not really. Malphite is still hunting, circling around this isolated AD carry, and we said there was gonna be some S-key gaming. That's 4 autos for Malphite passive. They will eventually knock him into the air. But anyone's got nothing to work with. Flashes to bait Flash. Here comes quickness, though, as they might get a turnaround onto this backline. Why do you ask me? Turning attention onto the backline. Sivir down, 2-man pop-up. Here comes the Talon, trying to kite their way onto Unara. One more auto will do it. The shutdown comes through. Now it's Bale, Bale, Bale. Here comes Wilted Rose. And they simply can't deal with the pile of rocks. Double kill over to the Malphite. Make that a triple. The hat trick goes to String the Best. And it looked good, ended in disaster.
And Maokai just looks purely unkillable at this point, and Chinese man, even towards the top side with this counter pick off the Graves, just absolutely destroying him in the 1 versus 1.
There are 6 kills on the unkillable tank. He was going to be unkillable at some point this game. Apparently that minute is 12.
I think the minute was minute 1 at this point. This Malphite absolutely destroying him. The problem is, you know how he got an extra 3 kills recently? He hasn't even reset and got them. He doesn't even have the armor boots. 12% of your AD attack damage just gone on auto attacks, meaning that Talon deals less, Wukong deals less, Sivir deals less, Nautilus deals less. You get the point. He just becomes even more unkillable.
He was S-King in front of tower. It was 4 autos for his passive shield without him fighting back.
Sandbag. Look at his build.
What's up? Yep. That's just Thornmail, Thornmail, Sunfire, and Tabbies. I know they're played in steel caps. I will never call them that. It is Tabbies forever.
Play a chess game, fall asleep, wake up, make breakfast, go to work, come back from work, have another meal.
Oh, hold that thought. We're not talking about the Malphite anymore. Here comes the top lane kills. The mid lane, apologies. My brain is mush talking about Malphite for too long. Ignite doesn't do it. I'm trying to get gassed up for this game, but Wilted Rose ends up getting the mid kill. And this Malphite is completely mind controlling me.
On top of that, you can watch this whole entire game and Malphite still wouldn't die.
Yeah, okay. If we're on the other side of the map, though, and we're my Nuth supporters, we need to work on something here.
Hear me out.
How do we play around the giant pile of rocks? Because I think we've given this dead horse enough bruises. We might have to hold that thought. Is up in the top lane, Cyclone locking down for now. Swing and miss from Chinese man. Graves now rocking an 0-2 scoreline, but he is pulling attention elsewhere. And Malphite has some bad intentions. Ult available. Walking underneath the tower. Melee range. Gets it done. Tower shot. 3, 4. String the Best does lose his passive shield. I repeat, they took away his passive shield on a tower dive. Well, this guy's not dying this game.
Yeah. I think no. The answer's just no. However, you talked about playing around him, and that's what MU should do. If there's ever, a bully, just avoid him. Just don't go near them, walk around them, and forget they're there. If MU can do that, they can keep finding kills on the map, just like this top lane.
Chinese man, nice sidestep onto the dredge line, trying to get some true grit stacking. They will eventually get him with the crushing blow, but here comes reinforcements. They make it a 2v2 thanks to the Tibbers incoming. Aerodon, quickness, first damage from mid. Elite ends up getting a reset of his own, and they pull members top. That's a couple more kills. Avoid the Malphite. Good things come your way.
Yes, Malphite clearing away, going to have himself over a 50 CS lead now against Dark Clashy. And this Talon, this is why this champion is so obnoxious. You dash over the wall, you use your full burst combo, and somebody just dies. As Malphite again, this poor Sivir.
Poor Sivir is right on the hunt, is going to be popped alongside that spell shield. Ultimate not available for the Malphite, meaning Ewan gets to fight another day, but they're just taxing resources. No ult AD. Chinese man trying to clear out this wave is flipping over the wall, and another ult goes on CD.
Well, Chinese man, he did actually have a good opportunity there. If he hit the Q and the ultimate, that was going to be one dead Talon. However, he still did his job. Pushed him out, allowing his team to just walk in, get themselves his Rift Herald and the top lane tower as well. As MU have finally understood the Malphite's here, stay away, play for the mid lane, play for the bot lane, and if they can go slightly behind, very far into the future, far away, Sivir can get armor penetration, can get to 5 items, and actually deal damage against Malphite. That's honestly their best bet.
In all seriousness, damage does outscale tankiness, because at some point you need to find a way to end the game, and so we might have a little bit of a dive brewing, throwing out that Shroud. Elite's going to be taking up as much damage as he can bring to bear, going invisible, String the Best, still taking up tower shots with reckless abandon, turning his attention onto the bot laner, forcing barrier, flashing underneath it. He gets a smite, turning it around. Maybe the Wukong got enough. 3 and tower, they get him down. Deathless no longer. Goliath is felled. 8-1 and 2 the scoreline.
Yeah, 1,000 gold shot down.
Keeping it going. Quickness up onto the top lane. Chinese man burst and killed. Minions aren't going to be able to cut it onto bot lane. Dredge line in. Got the shield. The Molten Shield back. Q does it. And Wilted Rose gets the trade on back. Mid laner, Dark Clashy, going to be beaten to death with simply auto attack damage. And there's a full flurry. When the dust settles, it ends up being a 2 for 2.
Yeah, but think about it. Elite got that 1,000 gold shot down, so MU happy with how that play worked out. Talon, with that gold, going to be able to get himself some armor penetration, but more importantly, shield penetration. I mean, if he wants to try and kill the Lulu or anyone with a shield, it will be so much easier. So if MU can keep finding these picks, making 4 versus 5 fights, yes, Malphite is super strong, but maybe 2 members on his team might be able to take him out.
It only took 3 in tower last time. So maybe they're able to get him with, let's say 2 in tower next time around.
But very far in the future that will be, as now it's going to be the 3rd dragon over to the side of UCD. MU sniffing around, seeing if they can maybe find a steal. I would definitely not recommend fighting this.
It's doable. Dark Clashy can just clone in, but good smite here for String the Best. He actually opts to Warrior Trickster over as Malphite's going to keep this one going, dashing over the wall. Rafa, the recipient of every bit of damage they can bring to bear. Why do you ask me? He's going to be picking that one up. Wukong opts to... Ooh, we might have to keep that one going. Ewan's forcing on the hunt. Turning attention on in. Popped up into the air with Wild Growth is Why do you ask me? Forces a barrier of his own. Perhaps a little bit of an overstep with the flash, but hey... No harm, no foul. Wukong opted to Warrior Trickster in instead of Blast Coning in, meaning he was forced to flash and that fight looked arguably worse than it needed to be.
Yeah, he just wanted to see if he could steal it away. Is now telling all on his own power.
Oh no, Invis will delay the inevitable and they will get the wave clear thanks to the ultimate, since Aerodot might be looking for something. A couple shields here and there as Chinese man's gonna be charmed up with that quickness. Here comes Dark Clashy polymorphing the Wukong. He can't get his ult off and the Tibbers will finish the job. That's some very nice CC layering. Jungle down for 30 seconds.
Yeah, Malphite's just holding the ultimate, mostly using a dissuade tool just to let his team walk where they want to.
They don't know that he doesn't have it, is also the funniest part of this whole sequence. String the Best is just imposing. Just standing there menacingly, as we do have a nice little ultimate out of Why Do You Ask Me. Getting the wave clear and chunking out the enemy assassin. Here comes the Malphite onto the dash on in. Getting the kill off screen. And Why Do You Ask Me goes on the killing spree as they look to put a little bit more damage into String the Best, who is once again S-King in front of them. 3-man Malphite ult, trying to get the AoEs on in. Why Do You Ask Me are the one to watch. Here comes the Dredge line into 2. Connecting, popping up into the air with the ultimate, but they don't have the damage to follow. Lomzy gets one, Annie the other, and the base will be cracked in 20 minutes.
Yeah, Inhibitor, they had the opportunity to take it. Instead, they will be leaving it all but alone. And they should be looking for this Baron in 20 minutes as it's only just got themselves spawned. Smite comes down, not actually going to be able to stop him. And MU in their position now, what can you even do? Yes, you got the damage, but it's on the Talon, a champion that isn't very much known with dealing with tanks.
No, he's just not as Chinese man. I feel like this is a tale as old as time. UCD running the map, Chinese man trying to get a trade kill back. It does get that Q back pass through, but not enough damage to finish the job. The potential top lane for Baron trade that we are all well and familiar with is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, as they will just be walking in, trying to clear away still anything that the enemy team is trying to find out. Blue buff, that's mine. Gromp, I'm feeling like it as well. And even he's wrapped he's flashing in.
You can tell he's having fun with it. I'd love it. Mr. Observer, sir, can you please flip on over to the gold lead? I'd like to see what this Malphite is sitting at. That's almost 4,000 gold individually in the jungle matchup.
That's usually what most teams have together after they've made multiple good plays and have a very significant lead. So for that to be a one player, it just kind of shows, 1, how well String the Best has played, 2, how incredibly strong this champion is against the enemy team comp, and 3, just overall how well UCD are doing. As nobody on the side of MU is even anywhere near this Baron.
No, and nor should they, as they turn their attention to the real prize, right? You can have Baron. We're taking the Graves here, as Graves is looking to fight his way into one back, kiting out for as long as he can, but they will get him nonetheless. It's cold comforts here for Maynuth. They have something back as the ultimate's going to be spent, going invisible and still knocked down with the Tibbers. Long range Q. Wilted Rose doesn't need eyes to see. Gets that one in isolation. Lulu there for some moral support.
And this is why it's important for them to actually focus towards the top lane. Nautilus is their signature champion, it feels. You know, they play Naut top. They're going to have a fun time. They got to make sure he's winning that top lane.
Cyclone, grand entrance, and he hasn't touched the ground in about a minute and a half. Shut down nice and easy. All right, there's another pick there and another shutdown going their way.
Yeah, Nautilus top looking very useful for the team. Gold lead very much in the favor of UCD. It's around about the 8,000 gold mark. Now, they haven't got themselves any inhibitors cracked just yet, most likely looking for this bot lane one, but with Annie not up for 25 seconds and all members of MU, there is an opportunity to try and find a pick here.
This is some rat behavior. 3 seconds left on the Drake, and they're just stood Fnatic death brushing up 12,000 gold. Elite's gonna run into a marksman in a world where your assassin is one shot. That's redemption for Zathos. Talon is no longer the boogeyman of Summoner's Rift.
Well, maybe not for this game, but don't worry. My solo queue games, he's still very much one-shotting me as MU. Trying to find a way in, but with the double ward setup, with the Malphite lurking around every corner, seems to be hard to try and get past this mountain. That should just be all UCD on this dragon.
Dark Clash is trying to get somewhere near the pit, somewhere in the striking distance of a Smite Steal and delaying out this soul, but at the moment he will be pushed out. He will resign himself to a wolf camp and potentially the 7 camp clear as he's looking to get Chinese Man for the 7th time, as he does have some reinforcements though kiting out. He's not left on an island this time, trying to fight to the tooth and nail, but he does get one this time. Wilted Rose is forced to flash to the left-hand side of your screen. Dark Clashy, dredge line, blocked by Tibbers with the bear getting the assist. Wilted Rose gets the high five from Tibbers on the way out as we look to keep this fight going. You have a flash on, and why you ask me he's going on flank all to his lonesome. This marksman doesn't know their role and likes where they're stood. Why do you ask me goes unstoppable? Wilted Rose and Dark Classy, 2 flashes, crushing blow. Mid's gonna be picked off as we do have the Malphite continuing to give chase in the base. He's gonna try and sunfire him. No, that man has a family. Malphite picks one up in the base. It's 4 men dead in MU jerseys.
Yeah, Sipper and Rakan will be alive to clear out this wave if they get the opportunity to. 20 seconds, like you mentioned beforehand. There could be a chance of ending the game, but most likely they will just try and look for another inhibitor. What am I saying? It's Malphite. Of course he's going in.
Inhibitors are suggested at this point, as Eridan's going to be stalling for as long as he can, but it's a double kill nonetheless. String the best and Lozy are the support you need. Why do you ask me has the damage? As now you have 2 seconds left on mid. TP channeled. Do they have any tricks left to their sleeve? The season is on the line here. Into the back line goes Elite, full committing onto the shield. Breaking. Lozy will simply walk cool, calm, and collected back towards the safety of their team as Chinese Man, a couple more autos into the turret. 7 seconds till Sivert.
Yeah, try to see if they can find anything into the back line.
Wukong just doesn't have the burst available. Even Wilted Rose and the stray tower shot not gonna do it, as Ewan is currently being zoned by a recalling Malphite. This one was our wraps from the beginning. The draft was too much to overcome. Padding out some DPS stats, getting low while they do it, as it's actually gonna be a bounce taking out the Annie. Does the Sivir have enough damage to get through Chinese Man? The redemption arc for the top laner. Graves is going to be getting a double kill to clean up the KDA a little bit. But with that, they will close in 26 minutes. Brooms out, 2-0 sweep, punching their ticket to Grands or UCD.
Yeah, and UCD have done a really good job of understanding what the enemy team was going to pick, and more importantly, finding their counters. The Grave in the top lane sure didn't realistically win the 1v1 early into the game, but once you got towards the mid, once you got towards the late, was an absolute monster in those team fights. We don't even have to talk about the Mal 5. What an incredible draft there from the side of UCD. They will be able to get themselves a ticket in towards the grand finals, like you mentioned, most likely against QUB for a rematch. Sandbag was a solid series, but UCD clearly being the better team today.
I'm more just thinking of did not win the 1v1. I'm pretty sure if we press tab, we're approaching double-digit deaths on the top lane.
But they need something, you know? I was trying to give them something that game.
No, that's what I'm saying. There was no 1v1. That Graves did not get to play the video game. But as we said, draft was a little bit too much to overcome. And I think you're right. I think this one was UCD showing their form, showing their class, and reasonable on walking their way on into that next round. And with it, that makes a quick night, right? Yeah. That's going to be us for this broadcast. Thank you very much for joining. And big shout outs to the bottom of our screen here, right? Our friends at Red Bull keeping us powered on up alongside Doug Patch, GG Machines, and Play Aid. Thank you all so much for joining us on this one. I've been Sandbag. This has been Zathos. Celtic behind the scenes making it happen. Have a great rest of your evening. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Good night, folks.